Good evening. It's Aarnimetsa, and it's time for our Poker live stream today. We are going to do this on 888Poker. I thought that let's do some 600 super turbos, since it's practically the game that runs to the highest stakes on 888Poker, and I also think that it's one of my favorite structures, so I think the games on average are going to be great. So let's go look on something on the 888's games. And I probably haven't been so tilted to start the session previously, so this is probably one of those sessions that didn't start the way I thought it should. Like, first of all, a pro tip. Always on 888Poker, if you need to deposit for whatever reason, always try to hustle for a deposit bonus. And when you try to hustle for a deposit bonus, you are talking with a customer support rep, and I probably got paired by pretty much the slowest customer support rep that I have seen thus far. So it took a while, and after that webcam didn't work, and I just love when tech works, and I just hate when tech doesn't work. We are getting dealt 2 cards on every game, so that's good news, since I'm not going to be that good in pot limit Omaha, so I'm just going to be happy that all of these games are hold'em. And basically, we are in general in hypers or super turbos, we are almost always opening for a min raise. There are very rarely situations where it's going to be good to open with a larger sizing pre-flop. Getting some quite sweet hits, and getting quite close to sitting out with pocket queens here. So, but in general, if we are the first one in, there is rarely going to be. Practically, it's going to be that we are either min raising or we are shoving, and there is very little spots in between that it would make sense to use a different sizing. With ace queen, we are going. An average player is going to shove too wide, in these spots. So ace queen is going to be profitable, and 8-6 off is going to be too wide. This is something that we are going to see a lot in 888Poker, and not just like, I'm not expecting to see 8-6 off, but I'm going to expect to see a sizable amount of those. So they are going to weaken the range that people are 3-betting. Like, there are people that are thinking that these super turbos or hypers are all about who's going to get the money in first. But it's not the name of the game. Name of the game is to manage your risk and trying to keep your fold equity as long as you can. And it's really windy in here. I hope it doesn't come through. Let's turn this into a bluff. We don't have a lot of equity here. I don't think that king queen suited is going to be I don't think it's going to be a profitable call against general button shove. It's not going to be far away from a profitable call, I think. But I still think that it's not going to be profitable enough when we don't have any information on our opponent. In here, actually, we could have shoved, or we should have shoved. This doesn't make a lot of sense with my stack size. Shoving would almost always be a better option. Mm, it doesn't really matter. Everything is going to be all in here. Like with shoving with a6 off, we are going to get situations that are not going to be hard for us. A6 off plays really well if we can see all the 5 cards, but on the flop we are very rarely having anything more than high card equity with our ace high, with our a6 off. So it's going to be a hand that's going to be quite hard to play, since we need to do a lot of judgment calls in, is our ace high going to be the best hand? But so the pro tip on 888 poker is to, if you need to deposit, like my card had gone old, so I needed to deposit so that I can withdraw to my card, since it's going to be the cheapest way to withdraw money from 888 poker is to let Visa handle the currency exchange fees. So that's something that if you need to deposit by any means, then always you need to take care that you are getting a deposit bonus, since on 888 poker there is always going to be a deposit bonus. Like all the times that I have needed, or I have had some need to deposit, there has always been a deposit bonus. So I think that it's just going to be something to take advantage of. This is going to be great call. Like this Arbus guy is a solid reg. So in here, on 888 poker, I'm going to expect that opponents are going to be bad by default if I don't have hands on them. So when I'm expecting that my opponents are going to play bad, then I'm going to make a bit more of these exploitative lines with strong hands, and just trying to get money in, and not think about style points or not think about balance ranges. If stream is not working well, it might also be a problem on my end. Like I needed to make my day with technology a bit more fun today. The new router I have bought did go with a boot loop with its wireless devices, so I needed to build up the configuration from scratch. So pretty much everything that can break has with the computers have broken today. So, or not everything. Like it can always be worse. So, but there might be something on my end that on the router side I'm not doing everything the smartest way possible. Should be a call. Not too happy to make the call, but I think that it's going to be a profitable call. Really interesting to hear that YouTube is working better for Deia, as we should have a lot of bandwidth. Might be that Twitch itself is having some problems. Ace-3 off is going to be one of those hands that I like to shove rather than min raise in here. I think that it's going to be a hand that plays a lot better as a shove. And this is a horrible call. This is going to be burning money, but unfortunately we are going to be on the bonfire with this guy. So basically always in sit and goes, when there are going to be two guys clashing into each other, all the other guys on the table are always going to win. So oh well, like this guy did win the most money in that pot and he didn't even take part. Like, or just thinking about the equities, not the results. Like this guy won the most money like real money, but this guy won the most equity. 6-7 suited, we are going to get pot odds here. I'm going to hate this call, like we are going to be behind, but it's about, are we going to be behind more often than we are getting pot odds for, and we are not going to be behind more often. Like there's no lagging in YouTube at all. That's interesting to hear. But okay, if Twitch is having problems, please use YouTube. We are sending the same video stream or the exact same video stream to YouTube and Twitch, so if it's working well on YouTube, then should be a, or then there probably is a problem with Twitch or our server, or between our servers and Twitch. It's going to be quite hard to get the blame more, and it's usually not profitable to get the blame. In here, I think that it's going to be better. Like pre-flop, we are not going to make our opponent fold at all. But if we are not folding post-flop and we are going to make our opponent fold sometimes post-flop, I think that we are going to get more equity here. Like this is one of those spots that where you are taking the pot post-flop, you are going to gain in equity, especially against guys that aren't going to be thinking about it. But that's also why we are having options. So we are always broadcasting all of our broadcasts simultaneously to YouTube and Twitch. So you can get the benefits. So if you are having a mobile device, that they generally work better on YouTube. If you are having slow connection, generally works better on YouTube. And well, Twitch works better if you are having a desktop computer, and because I think that they are doing less signal processing, so yeah, probably going to get the next 888 poker VIP level today, which shall be interesting. There's not that much direct value in the first VIP levels in 888 poker. Like most of the value comes from the different deposit bonuses, the bonuses they're running, uh, the free rolls and stuff, and there's going to be quite there's not going to be a lot of, that's something I think that our opponent is not going to call often enough, but when he has pocket jacks, well, what can he do? Death said everything works better on YouTube. I think that it's if you are using the I think that if you are on YouTube, if you are using the full resolution stream, the full HD stream, it's going to take a bit more processing power, and it's going to take a bit more bandwidth, since YouTube wants to make its own adjustments to the stream that Twitch doesn't do at all. Mm. This is nasty. In general, almost all the cards are going to be okay. Okay to play, but against the loose-looking guy, before antes, I think that folding is going to be better. Better with the weakest part of our range. Hmm. This is going to get interesting. There might have been some point in betting the turn as well. Really interesting run out as a whole. Like the Jack of Diamonds is one of the worst cards that can come for my equity, but I still think that it's going to be a bluff catching spot. And Detrudo said that never have seen a lag-free coaching via Twitch. Yeah, I think that YouTube does a lot more stuff with hardware acceleration and stuff. So, like on Twitch, it might be that it doesn't benefit for the hardware as much. Like for YouTube, Google has a lot of money to put in the video encoding coding side of things. So, this guy was with the Ace 3 or 8-3 suited. This is something that this is actually close, even though Ace 10 suited is a really crappy hand. But I'm just getting a vibe that this guy, when he turns the 8-3 off toward when he turns the 8-3 off to a bluff, I'm thinking that he's probably going to be a bit too bluff happy, even in those 3-bet situations. This is like seeing opponent only do something at one point of the game and then trying to extrapolate on how does similar play or how do players that are playing similarly to him playing on the spots. So but we'll see. This is probably something interesting to try to get a feel. And this is also something that when we are seeing players that are opening for 5 big blinds early on, we can almost instantly say that they are going to be fishy. And here we can see Queen Jack off, that he's willing to go broke. So probably this is like, now I know that it would have been profitable with the Ace 10 suited on average for sure. But when I did play the Ace 10 suited, I didn't have all the knowledge I have now. So it's one of those spots that you can feel a bit bad afterwards. I think that turning this king 8 to a bluff is going to be slightly better, and we are going to get still folds. There are so many draws that can miss on the river. And also with the queen, it's going to make the medium pairs a bit harder for our opponent to bluff catch. And Kasperi says that a couple of days ago, the whole Twitch went down. So much lag there in the recent days. Oh, didn't know about that. Interesting to see that this guy is a reg and he's sitting out. So one of the only regs in these games that I have seen that I think that is playing well. So in general, I think that these games are going to be are going to be good enough that you can pretty much play any game without any game selection. And I think that almost all the games that are opening on 888 are going to be profitable. We are having one of the best hands. Probably should have shoved the turn there. It's going to be it's going to be awkward anyways. Just with the six when there are so many one card straights, just didn't have the balls to go for a just didn't have balls to go for a bluff there, or not a bluff, a value bet there. They're on the river, a thin value bet. Like even when trips are not the nuts, they are not going to. In general, they are not going to be bluffs in hold'em. And this is one difference between 888 poker and poker stars. That on poker stars, if someone has sat out before because they have timed out on the tables, they're when they are getting all blinded all in, they are going to always fold. But if on poker stars somebody has timed out because they have been if someone has timed out on poker stars because they have disconnected, then it's going to be the same as in 888 poker. It's always. And on 888 poker, it's always that when someone gets blinded down, they are always going to show their cards. So you'll always need to beat the guy with the sitting out stack. And ViperX76 asked, when you don't stream, do you play more than 4 tables? There's a video on our stream that where I'm playing 42 tables, so I'm playing quite a bit more. Depends a bit on the game. Like last December, I played one session of 40 tabling when I played 180 mans, but most of the time I play about 20 tables. So probably one of the players that are playing or are going to be among the highest volume players. Might be that I need to adjust a bit for this year to adjust the amount of tables a bit down if I'm going to stay in the same games. Since on PokerStars they did the VIP changes, and I think that they are going to affect the hypers ecology that it might make more sense to concentrate on quality instead of quantity. And Death was at beer, anyone? Damn, I don't even have beer. I probably should have opened a beer when I saw that everything is going down tech wise. Now I got congratulations. With King Queen, we are going to go for a race call. I think both of us played well here. It's going to be a flip. And not doing that hot in those flips. Let's get it all in since this guy is a short stack. Got quite lucky on the river, but I think that this is also quite the top of our opponent's range. This is going to be interesting to see like what kind of cards do our opponents hold here. I don't know. I don't know. Feels brutal again. A brutal awakening for the session. But it was this. It was like this the last time around. But we still managed to win in the session. The later part of the session went well the last time around. But I remember that I felt the last time around as well on 888 Poker that this is going to be brutal. But sessions sometimes are. In sit and goes, even though 1 in 3 goes to the money and good players are going to the money with something like 36% of the time. 35-36% of the time in these super turbos. So even though we are going to get in the money about the 36%, there's still going to be a decent likelihood that we are going to have something like 15 games without getting in the money. So, like, we haven't played that many games, so not getting to the money that often isn't. Like, we have gotten money, or we have gotten to the money already once, so that's going to be. It's not going to be the most brutal of situations. In here, with the 7 kings suited, we are getting such great pot odds. Like, even if we are playing just the safe spots, I think that it's going to be a profitable defend. Mm, it's nice, but it's going to be that we are either splitting or losing. I think that we are going to split enough. And not that I asked that winning, not on this session. This has been brutal so far. We have been doing something like 1 second place finish out of something like 13 games. So not the best of starts, but you'll never know until it's finished. Like Kenny Rogers says in The Gambler, never count your money when the game's still going, or there's plenty of time for counting when the card game has ended. And this is also against small blind. There are going to be plenty of good opportunities to defend, especially if Guy seems to be a bit too wide. I opened 1 extra table by accident. No worries. Let's start some massive multi-tabling on 888. Danita says that a bit weird that on FTP SNG lobbies are hidden. I think that PokerStars is using Full Tilt Poker as a kind of a test laboratory for their new updates. Like, I'm thinking that they are going to get rid of game selection in cash games by just like removing the option altogether. And probably also in sit and goes, I believe that in the future there's going to be a situation where we just can't game select at all. Like, we are going to just see that there is like only 3 players remaining or only 3 players needed for a game. That's like they are having the hustle, or that's the point of having the hustle. Like what are you thinking about, and it's always going to be on like what are going to be the words to say that you are going to get the maximum bonus. So I think that it's going to I think that it's going to depend on like on 888 poker when they ask for how much you are going to deposit. They're going to try to make you deposit a bit more. So like, but it's going to also depend on like how much you are. This should have been a. This is close. Should have been a fold or should have been a shove, but probably it doesn't play that well. Oh, we hit our set. So even if when it doesn't play so well, every small pocket pair plays well when you hit the set with it. Death Riddle is getting the idea of it. And also, if you really don't care, then you can just ask like, what are the offers, or you can ask for, or you can say that it depends on what kind of offers you are giving me. So I think that now it's going to be about calculating the algorithm they're using, because it's not going to be that they are not going to, like, I don't think that on 888 poker the guys are, or the customer service reps, I don't think that they are having that much power in determining on what's going to, or how much you are going to get. They are having some kind of an algorithm that is going to, they are going to have some say in like how they are going to input the data. But I think that there's some kind of algorithm that they are inputting data, and it gives the opportunities to. Crap, this guy is already all in, so this is a grave mistake. And Natarai says that Poker Romania streams from Finland. Actually, we are streaming from Estonia, but we are Finnish. So all of our coaches are Finnish at the moment. So we are streaming in Finnish and we are streaming in English. Depends on the day. And yeah, Estonia is nice, but now it's not so nice since there is all this slush out there and all the wind. So it's like the worst part of the winter for me. Or like it's not that cold, so it's not completely horrible, but I hate the slush. I think that we are going to get decent amount of fold equity here, and trying to get the fold equity with pocket force. Like pocket force is always we are going to get more the more our opponent folds there. So we are going to try to make our opponent fold as much. When we are less than two big blinds deep, effectively, I think that we'll need to go with any two cards. If our opponent folds, and people on 888 will. So it's going to be good, and even if he does call us with any two cards, it's going to be profitable. So it's going to be a spot that with 4-5 off we know that crap. Just we are going to be behind all the time, but we don't need to have a lot of equity in those spots. Oh, Natare has attended a Muse drone show. So that's the name of their tour. And probably Canada is going to be quite similar to Estonia, but I think that it's going to be, or at most parts of Canada, it's going to be a bit more wintry than in Estonia at the moment. Like we had 3 weeks of snow, and now almost all the snow is gone, and Detrusdal is very neat on his day job. I think that's going to be like I think that they are going to make, or 888 Poker is going to make on average, they're going to make a lot of money when people are depositing. So I think that their optimal play is to be quite loose with the bonuses. But of course, if they aren't, like their optimal play is going to be quite loose with the bonus and trying to get people to deposit. Since I think quite a lot of the deposits are going to be converting to rake. But it's also like it's different. Like I don't know. Like I think it's kind of common knowledge that Death Riddle works for a company that is providing services that people are going to use quite regardless of. That 3-bet was nasty. Like the people are going to use about quite regardless of of if they are getting a bonus or not. They're going to use about the same amount of the services. So I think in that kind of a business, it's a bit different. Like perhaps in that kind of a business, you want to be loose with all the stuff that is going to create more business, like giving away stuff that's used to consume more services. But then like giving discounts for a service doesn't make that much sense since if people are always all if people are regardless of if you're giving them a discount or not, if they are using the service still, it's just going to be money out of the company's bottom line. So then giving a lot of free buys doesn't make any sense. But I think for the 888 poker situation, I think that it doesn't make a sense for them to knit up. And when I said that we have gotten to like one heads up or like once in the money, and now we are in three heads up simultaneously, so Ryan's is mysterious sometimes. Oh, we are not in three heads ups. We are heads up on all of these tables. Lucky I don't have 10 tables going. Lucky I don't have 10 tables going. And now we are going to win all these tables. This should have been a shove, but I misclicked. Like, I truly misclicked. I just didn't. I missed the button to shove and hit the bet button instead. And being happy didn't have the results I hoped for, since we did get second in both of the upper ones. Queen 7 should be okay enough against a guy that seems to have even at least a basic idea what he's doing. And the first win for today. It's a bit weird that like 888 Poker opens this kind of a poker screen if I press like I want to play another game and I have already been seated to the game. So then I'm having this kind of window of poker. Like, yeah, I want poker, but where's my poker? I know that I have had 10 heads ups going at the same time. When I played spin and goes with 12 tables at the same time, then I had 10 heads ups going and two three-handed games. It was fun, but probably not the most profitable option. Just when I'm not playing 888 poker normally, it's going to be slightly hard to go through the tables sometimes. But I don't think that Boku, for example, has a high amount of heads ups, since Boku is playing almost exclusively games that are having high amount of players, and probably some of the players that are playing the most six max games, or even some of the guys that are playing heads up hypers are playing quite insane amounts of tables. But it's of course it's going to be harder if you're having like if you are having seven heads up hyper turbos. You can play those heads up hyper turbos and you concentrate only on those. But if you are having seven tables of heads ups and then 18 tables of other games going on at the same time, it's going to be a lot harder. And so yeah, if this lags for Twitch viewers, try our YouTube link. It's usually or it's something that might be a bit better. And oh, we got an all in before. This is actually this is truly crappy. We are going to need to call 320 for 655. So we are going to need something like 36, 37%. It does require something like ace queen suited and ace king off in his range. Should be enough. And Detruda said I would just time out on every table in that scenario. Yeah, it's if you haven't trained to play a lot of tables, then you are not going to do well in those scenarios. But there are players that are playing like they have played a certain amount of 9 max games, then they are moving to 6 max and they are playing the same amount of games, and then everything breaks down because they are not used to a situation where they need to make actions a lot quicker. Also the same in some place like PokerStars where there are different times to act in a hyper or in a turbo or in a normal speed. Like if you are playing 9 normal speeds, it is going to be a lot. 9 normal speed is going to be a lot slower than 9 normal speed is going to be a lot slower than 9 hyper turbos. Which in a way makes sense and in other ways doesn't, but it's about the amount of time that you have to make a decision. And the amount to make a decision is going to be the lowest in hypers. But in some sites, there's the same exact amount of time to make a decision. I don't actually know in 888 poker. I think that in normal speeds, there's more time to make decisions than in here. Okay, what did we get called here with? King, queen off. Not horrible, but it's not going to be profitable call for him either. Sometimes I wonder where people are finding their nicknames. This nickname is probably something that's going to be not safe for work. Or then it's something that's not going to sound very threatening. Trying to get the most out of this big stack guy. Probably not going to be very successful. Okay. Mission successful. Never cheer on the turn. Never cheer on the turn. Always wait for the river. Well, we got our money in. We got our money in good, and that's the thing that we should care most about. Everything else is cosmetics. Still, still, when everything else is cosmetics and everything else is noise, and it just matters that we did the best equity option. It still felt bad when the queen hit the river. Just can't help myself. Especially when I was talking about the same exact spot. Probably wouldn't felt that bad if I wouldn't have been speaking about the same exact decision there. Going to be an interesting spot in the top left. And it's going to only be profitable if you are going to aim to get value out of it. So it would have been better if you would have been in position, but it's also like you see the point with the pocket kings. why I did try to get more value. Like I said that it's going to be a long shot to get more value out of the guy. Then the big stack shoves with queen four suited and we got the maximum value out of him. But it would have been a really easy fold for him if he would have shoved. So we did a really good equity move and we got punished for it. There's no time for such madness as dancing. Probably that's a leak for me that I should play only the amount of tables that I could dance for the good cards to hit the rivers. In 888 poker also the dances are not going to be included. I don't think even Korpisdur is going to dance on 888 poker since it's going to require such a big amount or such speed to get the good luck dance done before sitting out. Okay, Putin. This is an interesting situation. How can we screw Putin the most? This is like basic basic Estonia. This is what we think in here. Like, how can we screw Putin the most today? Works. So apologies to all of our Russian viewers that idolize Putin. He's gone. He did put in his money with the hand too weak. That's probably the worst pun that we have ever had in these streams. This seems like a basic stream, like having a fluid transfer from tilted to embarrassed. So like something something doesn't work today like it should. Having some heads up, so probably transferring from losing all the games to making some money, and that's always going to be nicer. King 5 is not going to be good enough. I think that we can grind the guy. And now I can see that we are also hitting slow import syndrome on Poker Tracker. So when I said that today everything that can go wrong has gone wrong, I was wrong. There is plenty of stuff that can go wrong. And also there is a storm outside, so I can lose electricity or internet like any time, so shouldn't be talking about everything going wrong that can go wrong. And try to get the most value possible. King 6 should be good enough. Can't catch a break. Well, the river is always going to be good. Like, now it's always going to be good, but and this is how it turns. We started off with something like 13 games with one cash, which was a second place finish. And then out of the last like 8 games, we have finished in the money for the in 6 of those and won 3. So it can also turn quite quickly. This is not a bit crappy situation. This is a lot crappy situation, but 10 deuce just isn't going to be solid enough. Mm, King 4 is just going to be so weak, and we are having a problem with the Mr. Tigger that if he still shoves, if we call that, we are going to lose money we shouldn't be. Always look at the previous actions. So, getting back to this guy. So we have thought about screwing Putin, and now we are like, we should try to avoid giving easy money there. And that's something to just not do. We are, in general, if we are having edge on our opponents, we want to have the edge by looking at the actions and thinking about the best course of action. And that was something that was like 95%. 95% stupid. So King 8 suited it's going to be close. It's just that we are going to be the smallest stack by far, and if we fold that, we are going to risk our fold equity. So still something that I'm not that happy about doing, but I think that it's going to be quite necessary. Now I'm wondering, do we even have anyone on the other side? I first thought that today would have been a day that I would have remembered to take off, but I didn't. So here we are, and actually on the next Thursday we are going to have a public-private coaching in English with a Scotchman. Scotchman that did register to our site a few days ago, so it will be about 9 max sit and goes, and I think that it's going to be quite likely that it's going to be quite starter friendly. So we are going to, if you are going to be new in sit and goes, I think that it's going to be a great place to start the journey in 9 max sit and goes. Pocket deuce is going to be, ducks are going to be a great hand to be shoving there. Trying to get more tables, but it's saying to me that not available anymore. But I wanna play. I don't want to play pot limit Omaha, because that's something I don't know how to do profitably. Where are all the chatters? That's what I'm thinking about. Like Thursday and beers sounds like thirsty and beers, so. And if you are thirsty, then beers are going to be quite the optimal choice. Yeah, like I'm not going to do Omaha, so Deija can do some pot limit Omaha later on when they are going to start the series with Kyberi on how to start learning pot limit Omaha. They did start to get some of that going on during the Kyberi's 24-hour stream, and I think it was surprisingly good, even when Kyberi did it after 22 hours of streaming or something. So I think it's going to be a nice idea to be seeing what's going to happen in pot limit Omaha if you only know the rules before. And that's a good question. Like, when are we going to see you on the screen again? It's going to be so close. Trying to just maximize the fold equity and um, ace-8 suited shouldn't be profitable to call. Hating the option when opponent reshoves. Just can't fold in that spot profitably. Actually, that's going to be quite close. Actually, that's going to be quite close. But trying to get the most amount of fold equity there, I think that it's going to be the right choice, and Queen 4 suited is going to be too strong of a hand for us to want to fold it. And Danitas says that when we are going to have home game on stream. Well, that's an interesting option. Depends. I think that it's going to be interesting for the home games on getting home games on screen, since those are not going to be coachings in the regular sense, since it's usually going to be in a spot that you pretty much can't play at the same time. All right, multiple tables at the same time, meaning to have a lot of lag. We need to think about how it would work the best. And in general, the games that are going to be home games, even against or even between players, they sometimes deteriorate towards how do you say it? They sometimes deteriorate towards. Wow! Now that I see Queen 4 off, that's so unprofitable to shove 6-5 off. Then I got lucky there, and also like even though it's so unprofitable to shove against that guy after that, after we see that. But before we have seen, we don't know it. Like in when general opponent is going to call tight enough, then we are making money on average when we are shoving those spots. But even when we make average, there are always going to be guys that are wider than average, and there are going to be guys that are tighter than average. And against tighter than average guys, we are going to make even more money, and against loser than average guys, we are going to lose some money. But it's just like we know from the frequencies, if we are having a lot of stats on guys, we know from the frequencies is it's going to be likely that our opponents are going to be loser or wider. And but if we don't have frequencies, we might know from hands, and if we see something like queen four off, we can be pretty sure that the guy is going to be a bit too wide. Trying to get a good session of the games for the last. I think that right now I'm going to like I'm. This hasn't been a good session for me. Mental game hasn't been what it should have been. Even getting awake at 7 o'clock, that's something that, as a poker pro, I really rarely do, and like I can't recommend it. Like getting up at 7, it sucks. That's my honest opinion about it. And I need to tip my hat to players like XXIXX, that's our moderator, that's having like 4 kids, having a job, with long travel times, then having energy to be with the kids and play poker, and still play poker after like waking up in the morning. And I'm like, one morning, need to wake up, completely completely gone at night, and it isn't even that late, or shouldn't be that late. Ben Van Lit, I don't think that you have missed much, or you have missed the good parts on, like, you have missed the parts where I'm making money, so probably nothing that interesting. I'm not sure. I don't actually know that. Is the stream going to be more or less interesting when I make money? Donnie asked that. Are we talking about 7 in the morning or evening? 7 in the morning, 7 in the morning. 7 in the evening could be just regular stuff. It's actually something that it really sucks if you are having a sleep rhythm of waking up at 7 in the evening. Since if you are having a sleep rhythm in Estonia where you are waking up at 7 o'clock in the evening, it means that you are going to be asleep all the time that it's going to be light outside. So it gets slightly depressing, or more than slightly depressing. And PS 2011 says that voice level changes whole time. How big of a problem it is? That's the good question. Like, how, if it's a big problem, then we can try to do something about it. Or actually, we are going to be quite close to ending this session, so probably not going to do anything about it today. But we started off with technical problems, so sorry. I have fought so many technical problems to be here this evening, so just doesn't have that much energy in. I play heads up mainly, but would try sit and go. How about 6 months hyper for 1.5 on PS? Is it a good place to start hyper sit and go, or the less buy-ins to learn. I think that those are going to be about the smallest buy-ins there are. Actually, in 888 poker, I think that there are even smaller six-handed hypers, like 40-cent hypers. But on Poker Stars, the $1.5 hypers are going to be the lowest games that run, and I think that they are going to be like the Poker Stars hypers. I think that they are probably even a bit easier as a learning experience, since in those games uh, it's going to be a situation where the antes are going to be involved at early on, and the bigger the antes early on, the less space there is for creativity, and the less space there will be for creative moves. So I think that when we are having antes at the start, it's probably going to be like, I think that Star's structure is probably going to be a bit easier, since you are always having about the equal sized antes. And here it goes from no antes, antes, and the antes are going to change in relation to the blind size all the time. So you need to constantly be adjusting for the antes. And PS 2011, 7 in the morning is the time to go to sleep. If you are going deep in an MTT, then usually it's going to be a great time to go to sleep. Actually, Arbus is probably going to be wide enough, so this is going to be a good call. Now I'm going to. Oh, I have missed some of the Ben Van Lit's comments. So I thought about saying something there, but probably probably going to ignite a big can of gunpowder. So, and Viper EX, big swings playing hyper push me off, getting easy to get on a tilt. Um, Basically, the swings are going to be quite equal to, like, if the game is a six-handed turbo, the price structure is going to have the biggest impact in the variance you are going to be feeling. Like, in the variance sense, if you are having 2% of edge in hypers, you are going to have exactly the same kind of swings if you are having 2% of ROI in turbos. So basically the only thing that is making hyper players to have higher or larger downswings is going to be that they are having mm, less edge per game. But if you are thinking that if you are playing hypers, you can play so many more games during a single hour. So even if you are playing like one buy-in level lower than you are generally playing, then you can get to an opposite situation, that if you're playing at the buy-in level lower, it might be that hypers played at the one buy-in level lower might be a lot less variance filled games than normal speed or turbo speed games played a level higher. If you are just looking at the swings in dollars, of course, if we are looking at the swings in buy-ins, the hypers are going to be a bit more. And yeah, there are plenty of stuff on hypers on our side. Hypers is, I don't know, like lately I have been playing a lot of hypers. Oh, nice win, nice win. 3 last games. If you have any questions on sit and goes, hypers, life, fixing computers, fixing stupid computer stuff, everything is everything is going to be a good topic here, since we are going to have some less tables, and less tables are. And 888Poker informs me that I'm soon approaching copper level. It's quite good, since this is like the second time I have played on 888 this month. So the first levels, there's not a lot of value in the levels, but they're going past quite quickly. We are going to call here if our boost shoves. It's going to be wide enough. And we can see from the 3-6 off that he's going to shove with any 2 cards. That's like the bottom 90% hand sell, or bottom 95% hand sell. Not like it's going to be on the worst 5% of hand, 5 to 6% of hands. So when you see something like that, you can be pretty sure that the opponent is shoving any 2 on those situations. And WiperX can fix computers, can't fix my game. Keep trying. Yeah, that's something that I have also learned before fixing the game, fixing computers. But being good with computers is usually something that helps even with poker, since there are so many tools that you can use to your advantage, and there are so many ways that tools can go wrong. So being good with computers is going to in general be good for a poker player as well. Oh well, now we need to win some pots in a row. And just as I said, that if you are having your sleep rhythm in a way that you are waking up in the evening, that's usually quite depressing in the finished winter time, since then you are never going to have. Then you are never going to have a good time when you are going to see the sun. But that's the sign of a true poker player. And as I said, that I was pretty bummed at the start of this session, but we are, no matter what happens in this last game, we are going to win money. Okay, we are going to win a sizable amount of money. Like, I can say already that we are going to be in the green, even though if we would have lost this game. And now we are going to get a nice hourly. Viper X says the front PT to show stats on 888 Poker. If you are playing like on 888 Poker, there's just one thing that you you can't get stats showing in the Snap Poker games, but in Snap tournaments you can, but not in the Snap Cash games. And basically, the key point in Poker Tracker is to the key point in Poker Tracker is to have the site save the hand histories. And sometimes you need to go, like, if you're Poker Tracker, if you are, this is going to be like $50 higher, so 55 $55 plus, running under EV, so it's going to be nice. But like in 888 Poker, like you need to have here to keep my hand history and have a long time to keep the hand history. And if you are having problems that you can't still get your HUD to work, then check your hand history in the 888 poker folder, and like just open it with something like Notepad plus plus or Notepad. Like we can actually go to see one of the hand histories, how it's supposed to look and how it can fail. Like there have been some players that just 888 poker has stopped 888 Poker has stopped inputting the hole cards for hero. And when they have stopped inputting the hole cards for hero, then it's going to be a problem. Like if you are having this kind of a, you just look on the first hand, you can see there's like the, on dealing down cards, if you are getting like dealt to Aarnimetsa and are seeing no cards in here, then Poker Tracker can't work for your games. And then the only way that I know how to fix it is to reinstall 888 Poker, and then it should work. So that's something like, those are the three key things. And of course on 888 Poker you need to, in here you need to have the same folder where the hand histories are going. And yeah, $55 up, so crushed the games. Feeling better now than from the start. Webcam works, internet works, YouTube works. Have won money. Probably going to take a beer and going to go to sauna. So I hope that this was a step in the path of being a better poker player. So if you are still playing poker, good luck on the tables, and if you are going to sleep, have a good night. Bye!